Speaking of things that are running, you know what you're not going to run into this year? E3, sadly. Guys, E3 is officially canceled. It has officially been released. They are canceling E3 this year. And
God.
it's going to be a sad moment for a few. And then everyone's hopes and dreams came across when they're like, wait, they haven't said anything. Airsoft. No, still Nerf. Okay, gotcha. Then they sat there and went, maybe there's still hope. We could get a digital E3. That has also been slammed down with a hell no. So what ended up happening is, according to what I've read, and I'll have a link to IGN's article in the description. According to what I have read, no communication was happening. No one could get proper word on what was happening, who's doing what was going to go on. And it seemed like instead of them communicating, even with the public, they just said, no, let's just not do it. And so E3 has officially been canceled for digital and physical. And it's sad because a lot of things were starting to open back up to a physical locations. And I know a lot of people would have been excited about that. I mean, we have droves of physical tickets now going out. People are going to movie theaters again. Shocking. I wouldn't, but I'm a socialist. But I used the wrong word. Used the wrong word. But
antisocial?
Yeah, antisocial.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a very different thing. Socialist.
Oh, I had
somebody's been triggered on Twitter from that.
Yeah, more than likely. Hey, if you get triggered on Twitter, tag us.
Well, I mean, it's Twitter. People go to get triggered.
Except, okay, oh man, so we gotta stay on topic real quick. So, E3 is canceled officially everywhere. Now, this is what Xbox did. This is what Nintendo did. This is what PlayStation did. Whenever it was first canceled, they did their own shows. They did their own, kind of E3. They did their own versions of it. I mean, Nintendo hasn't been at E3 for 3 years, I'm pretty certain. Don't quote me on it, but they haven't been in one in a while. But they did their own kind of thing. So the reason we bring this up is to inform everyone that what's going on, but and to ask, what do you think is going to be the outcome of no E3? Because something got to happen, and something will happen. So what do we think will end up happening, and what do we think the outcomes of it will be?
It's more turned towards some of these smaller shows that show off video game related stuff.
So G4. G4 could start releasing
stuff. They're like E3, but on a smaller scale.
Yeah. So you think maybe with them canceling out E3 that they're going to open up that opportunity to smaller creators to maybe, do you think they're going to maybe email or reach out to these smaller, not 1,000 size, but like you said, just a smaller creator and be like, hey, this is what's happening, and let them take the ropes?
This means things like Gamescom and PAX, if that hasn't happened already, and if they show any video game stuff at Comic-Con, I honestly forget if that's just a huge comic thing where they just have really expensive statues and stuff and comics that are almost impossible to get outside of the Comic-Con. Freaking, that kind of stuff. I want to go to Comic-Con someday, but I think you have to be invited to go to it.
Comic-Con?
No,
you might be thinking of a more exclusive event because Comic-Con is open to the public.
VidCon, no, even VidCon you can go. I know what you're talking about. There is one Comic-Con event type thing that you have to be invited for because it's big people there.
I know unless
the third one is invite only because I don't think they want the public to just walk in and be like, why are there so many people in tarantula suits?
They're
for the trains.
You have to either be media.
I guys are yeah, so are you. The guy shows up. Okay, sorry.
With media, E3, you have to be either big in the media or you have to be a major content creator or something like that, or somebody.
Or just a really good bullshitter. If you're just oh yeah, I'm part of. If we put our collective efforts together, we could probably get one of us to go.
I just know that E3 was always
yeah, you, Jordan, of course. it's your brand. I'm just saying I
was like, maybe me. So go ahead, Charles.
I don't know.
Don't worry, you get to the point where they're inviting you.
I just think that without an E3 and everything, it's just gonna be weird but it's gonna be nice for some of these smallish video game related shows.
Jordan, didn't you go to E3?
No.
I thought you went once. I remember.
No, I
talking
never went
somebody.
to one. That's
Okay,
why.
I thought. Sorry.
He wanted to go to RTX once, but he didn't get to.
There, Charles actually got it right. I almost went to an RTX, and then COVID happened, and it didn't work.
And then pretty much went, fuck you, RTX!
Yep. So I didn't get to go to one. I almost went to a Comic-Con in Kansas City, and when I almost went there, I was gonna get the cast of the Arrow to be there, and then I had a weird sex dream, and then I thought I couldn't do that. It's a legit story. It's a legit story. I will talk about it in the middle of it. And by the way, if you guys like these segments of them being cut out for YouTube purposes, if you want to see the full where we actually go into details about some of these weird stories, make sure to watch the full podcast. It is also linked at the top of the description. But I'm just, dude, I'm plugging, man. I'm plugging.
No, I just think it's funny. There's like consistently people come for like the content, and then like 2 minutes in, you're just so that fur convention I went to, yeah.
I've been trying to keep us on track. You're out of control.
So have I. Okay, I've been pretty good the last little while. Okay, it is leaking out though. I do admit.
You sit there and like, we'll go to Charles. Charles will cock block you and try to say something. You're like, hush, wait, and you finish saying your stuff, and you keep cutting Charles off. I was like, whoa, this man is out of control. This man's out of control.
I think this tea is really fucking good, though.
Is that Arizona tea?
It's
Nice.
half iced tea and lemonade. Fucking awesome!
Dude,
Fucking Arizona.
that looks like something you get at the dollar store. Not gonna lie.
You can get it at any grocery store or Walmart if, God forbid, if you ever have it on stock.
Hey, you know what you can't get at the grocery store? I'm sorry, audience. We'll get back to this story. You can get Prime. You can get Logan Paul and KSI's brand new drink if you look up, if you just look right there. You can get
Paul!
you can get their new drinks. You can get their new drinks at Walmart today.
Boy, am I glad that I decided to keep to quiet down so we can get the show back on track.
Still can't find a fucking freaking what are they called? The freaking graphics card though. Anyways, though.
A 3090. Now you would be able to find that. Back to the podcast, Joseph. What are your opinions of E3, and what do we think we could see out of this?
For the record, my batting average in terms of restraint has been pretty good. Okay, all right.
Until this podcast.
Not perfect, but so I think I grew up in a different time because there was a good window like 5 to 6 years where E3 was like, okay, I'm aware of it and I long to go for it. It's like it's such a fantasy. Anybody would love to go to E3. Interestingly, I wasn't didn't really care for the booth babes. I'm kind of glad that's done. I mean, there's a time and place for everything, but I don't think E3 is that. I feel bad for the models. They're just like, half naked, a bunch of sweaty nerds walking around. I'm like, this is not, no thanks.
I feel that.
Have you seen videos of Comic-Con into a freaking Kamea-Con, aka the Dragon Ball Z?
Of course, yeah, Anime North, all those but we're not talking about people who are working the floor. Those are people who choose to show up dressed like that. Mm-hmm. Where I'm talking about people who are like they're looking for work and they're hired to be dressed like that. I'm like, I mean,
to get people over to the tables and stuff.
I was like, we hire the cosplayers who spend like years working on this stuff. Have them attend to the booth. That would be sick.
That's an honor to them.
I don't think there's going to be much. I think this is going to be a lot of like disarray. My one solid guess is that Nintendo will still do a Nintendo Direct around that time because the residual hype that we all get as gamers around this time has to be used for something. Mm-hmm. It would be nice to see all of the major companies and publishers coordinate to have like a bunch of video directs. Just make it easier for all the other content creators to kind of do their own streams, their own reaction videos around the same time, because the ESA, and as well as the ESRB, the gaming industry once in a while will come together to settle matters. Like with when they needed to come up with a rating system. That rating system has been pretty consistent for many years now. So the industry can get its act together. So yeah, I think we'll see some events around that time, but I can understand hesitation for planning this event, setting up all the booths, dumping all this money into it, only for us to have some like, residual outbreak, and then they have to shut the whole thing down again. So I totally get what they're going with this, and I support it. Let them have the year off, make sure that things are okay, and then start building the anticipation for E3 2023. And then lastly, I can't keep up. There's so many games. I would love E3 to actually you just can play other games that are already out. Just try out games that you didn't try out before. There's so many games. I can't keep up.
Jesus Christ, you ain't kidding. There's so many that came out in the last month alone. Like, Jesus.
There's been so many games already released just this year that would have never met E3's panels. And that's a sad realization to it.
I got my habits. They're pretty well ingrained. Like, a friend bought me Undertale 4 years ago. I haven't beaten it. But I have no problem dumping like 15 hours of game time in Dota this last week. I just, once people are set in their ways, it's hard for me to pull myself out of that. Because when I pick a game, I'm not big for like play the game, finish a story, move on to the next one. I've never really been about that. For me, my games are very much like a lifestyle thing, and trying to like plan my week to week around game time. Build a social network, build a community around the games that I play. So I'm very selective about what games I commit to long term, and I just don't know what it's going to take for me to really be like, oh, I'm dropping all this other stuff for this new thing. But I'm not the target market. I'm 32 years old and insane, so don't worry about me.
You're only insane at the eye of the beholder. So everyone sees you're insane. Excuse me.
So, yeah. Carbon neutral with that one.
I don't know what you mean. Okay, cool.
How about just neutral with that one?
Okay, I get that. Okay, so this is my stakes on it. I think
Charles, can you tell me more about that iced tea?
Shut your mouth. I think this is what happened. I think Halo done did fucked up E3. I think Halo messed it up because they said it was gonna come out on a certain date when they released it, and it didn't. Cyberpunk was set to release, and it didn't. All this stuff happened in E3. They set dates that used to be reliable, and now they don't happen.
Real.
So when it that's a tough one. It's the
Nerf gun.
I almost, dude. I was gonna say Nerf. I was gonna say that. But when it's all said, that I think it's because they messed up on so many dates, or not in E3, but just the companies had to move the dates back to where E3 said, okay, maybe let's not make a whole event scheduled around big games releasing when we don't even have actual dates of release. Let's just not focus on them. And I think that's why they're not doing it. Now, I think what they're hoping to do is make their own E3 show for their own like Xbox exclusive games that they can guarantee. Ones that are already in beta testing or close to it, so they already know it should all be fixed. It should all be finished. We have games that they made last year and the year before that was Xbox exclusive, Game Pass exclusive. Maybe they might make a show showing you everything in Game Pass for the month, everything gonna be in Game Pass in the year. Like, maybe they'll find a way to do that. PlayStation, they have opportunities. They're trying to do their own pass networks, and Nintendo's gonna do their own show like they always do, or air quotes always do.
Guys.
What?
Vanguard has pretty much gone down the shit, and freaking almost nobody's playing it now, except for freaking people that for some reason still like playing that game, Indoor the Hackers. Freaking plague that game like no tomorrow. Freaking they want people to play that game, freaking, and especially like, since we decided to freaking I get that game. They may as well just put that thing on the freaking Game Pass. Just put cut the price on it or something. I don't know. And hopefully the next time they make another Call of Duty, if they're not going to do a remaster like people have been demanding for freaking ever, for like Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer, freaking Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer, only campaign like I've been hearing. Well, fucking God forbid, give us fucking Black Ops 2.
Well, they're gonna give us some stuff this year.
They're gonna freaking play another Call of Duty in a beta. At least freaking next time, hopefully that when it comes out, it won't basically just be the beta of freaking slap for the coat of paint. Alright.
I think if they're gonna do any more HD updates, they'll probably do what they did with Infinite for like the Call of Duty ones that are not as marketable, or maybe they don't excite the fan base as much as usual. They'll try to sweeten the deal with one of these updates. So I think if I were them, that's probably when I would release one. When there's one that we're less confident in, and we want to protect it by having like a surefire update that people have been wanting for quite a while.
Let's give us Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. Remastered multiplayer like we've been asking for forever since we got the campaign already. Freaking, then I'd be happy.
Well,
I know they have the multiplayer for that game done and everything. They've just been holding it hostage.
yeah, they also have the Halo Infinite multiplayer campaign finished. I don't know when we're gonna get it, but they have it finished. We just don't see it. But so any last final words on the E3 shutting down, canceling? They're done. Any final words?
I still want to look forward to it, not necessarily for like, well, again, there's so many games, but just the event in of itself is still something that even to this day I would love to go to. So as long as they're using this time to bring E3 back to like the most important event in all of gaming every year.
That's Video Game Awards.
No.
The reason why I disagree with that, Charles, is because I don't think the Video Game Awards represents all of the gaming industry.
No.
I think it represents a lot of vested interests, a lot of agendas, a lot of like, oh wow, the Last of Us 2, that controversial game. Yeah, let's just give that all the awards. So like, at least with E3, even the more cynical people on the internet, who I have nothing but sympathy for, because I consider myself among them, at least part-time, is everyone plays games. So E3 really is the event for everybody. The awards, some people are going to walk away happy. Some people are going to walk away disappointed. Some people are going to like not even care.
Yeah, because here's the thing is with the award show, it's more focused on the creators who made the games, that made the gamers or something like that. And that's good for them. They should have a show, but I don't feel like that's the most important one. We're E3 on a physical event of E3. This is what you have. You have creators of all sizes there who they get to meet fans. They actually will get YouTubers out there. They get on stage or meet fans, get them their own little areas and stuff like that so you can meet up with people. That's a great way to have people from out of state come all together to meet up for once. And you get booths, you get to try out games right there. You can do so much stuff. That's more of an event for a gamer than an award show. And that's my opinion. So I believe E3 is more valuable and is the most important gamer event, not the award show.
Yeah, but I will say the awards show still has room to grow as gaming becomes more prevalent in really every household. And so it can get to the point where like, the gaming show will be something like the Oscars where anybody who has an interest in games will want to tune in to see, who won the awards. The same problem with that parallel is the Oscars is an elitist thing, and so you had to be in the Academy, and there's politics behind it. So that is the stigma that I think would be attached to really any awards show. It doesn't matter what industry we're talking about. So if they use the awards show as a chance to reveal some stuff, that would be pretty cool. But again, why would you do it then? Just do it during E3.